Hi there. If you're here today, then chances are you are dealing with anxiety or you know someone who is. And I get it, it's universal. We've all been there. And sometimes anxiety can really feel overwhelming and make you feel like it's taking over everything. But the truth is, it doesn't have to stay this way. You're not alone. And in this video, I'm going to share some strategies, very practical tools and tips that you can use immediately to regain a sense of calm and make you feel more empowered. Firstly, what is anxiety? So from my perspective, I'm going to make it very, very simple. Anxiety is this general sense of unease that we can feel when we have let very specific worries and fears accumulate over time. So what this means is it's as though your daily fears and worries have gone unacknowledged and unprocessed for days, weeks, months, or even years, and they have been under rug swept. And so in so doing, there's now a mountain of unresolved, unacknowledged, and perhaps even completely unconscious fears and worries. And when this starts to pile up, what it does in the psyche is it creates a sense of unease, anxiety. I'm going to give you my step-by-step guide on what exactly to do when you're feeling anxious. So my step 1 is to literally clarify what it is you're anxious about. So like I said, anxiety is built up of a whole list of unprocessed, unacknowledged, possibly even unconscious fears and worries. So the first thing is to clarify what they are. So literally get yourself a pen and a piece of paper or your own journal and write down a numbered list of each little, big fear or worry that you may be carrying. And they can be as mundane as, I'm worried about if my bus is going to turn up late and make me late for this appointment. Or, it can be as deep as, I'm scared of dying. Just write down any and all fears that you may be carrying right now. And next to each fear, I want you to write down the intensity of that fear out of 10. So 10 being maximum. How strongly this fear resonates with you in your system. Okay. Now, once you've done that and you've got yourself that list, this is a really important step because it is clarifying, it is literally giving you your fears, all the fears that are lost and muddled up here and here in your body, in your stomach, in your chest. All of that fear and stress that's nebulous. It's like a foggy, cloudy, nebulous mess of fear and stress. All of that is being clarified. So you're literally seeing all of that was here before on a list. And just by seeing that alone, it's going to feel lighter because it's become illuminated. So, it's become apparent, evident. It's not murky and hiding in the shadows anymore. But let's take it to step 2. So step 2 is to follow Byron Katie's The 4 Questions method. On each of these fears that you have, I'd like you to ask yourself these 4 questions. So the first of these 4 questions is, number 1, is it true? Then, number 2 is, can you absolutely know that it's true? Then, the third question is, how do you feel? How do you react when you believe these thoughts, this belief, this thought, this fear? And then the fourth question is, who would you be without this fear or thought or belief? So once you've noted those down, this is an important exercise because number 1, this is going to clarify what is actually really true. And I'll guarantee that most of the time, what is actually true is not a lot, because the mind is so good at creating stories. It is a master storyteller. And the primary concern of the mind, we could also call it the ego, is to keep you safe. But what that means is that its constant job is to scan your surroundings and detect threats. Now, these threats may not be real, but that's not the purpose of the mind. The mind's purpose is to detect any threat to your survival. It's not concerned about your peace or your well-being or your happiness. It's concerned simply about your survival. So what it will do is it will tend to over-exaggerate. It is like an overly sensitive thermostat. Of course, sometimes it's accurate. Some things can be harmful. But most of the time, like 80% of the time, what it detects as a threat is really not a threat. So, this is why the mind is able to create stories to make you believe that you are not safe when you are safe. And what it believes that you're not safe about is based on past experience. And you may be a very, very different person now than in the past. And your life may be very, very different now than in the past. So if you have a bit of a troubling past or traumatic past, then your mind is likely still very much in the same training as it was back then, thinking that you are in harm's way when you're actually not anymore. Step 3 is to somatically process your fears. So my favorite method to do this is using EFT tapping. Now, what tapping does is it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, allowing you to immediately feel relaxed. And as you're feeling relaxed, you're able to tune into the fear and actually let it go. Now, the nervous system is linked with the body's energetic system. So the meridian system used in traditional Chinese medicine or acupressure or acupuncture. And as we tap on these specific points, we're actually not only calming down the nervous system, but also releasing any kind of energetic blocks that were in place there, held down by our fears and stresses. So I'm going to link to a couple of my guided tapping videos on anxiety, and you can use these videos to step-by-step release and let go of each and every fear that you have on your list. Now, tapping is incredibly effective. It's effective at so many things, but it's so excellent at dealing with anxiety and helping us to feel calmer and change our whole mindset around the initial fears. So these exercises will work if you do them. And if the idea of doing these 3 steps overwhelms you or makes you even more anxious, then I actually have a tapping video for that, anxiety and overwhelm, that you can use. And just know that you don't have to do this all in one sitting. If that feels overwhelming, break this down. Just figure out 1 or 2 things you're anxious about and do the 3 steps on those 1 or 2 things. So have a go at those and tell me how you feel. If it works, what you think. I'd love to hear in the comments.